So, this one's going to be about Darwin's Dangerous Idea, by Daniel Dennett. And I don't actually know what this book is completely about. I've just only kind of read this small little introduction by Nat, the author of this summary. And the link is down in the description. So if you want to check it out, please check it out, because there are a lot of more great summaries by him. It's an amazing site, amazingly detailed, just good. And I think I'm just, gonna go ahead. It is rated 8 out of 10, which is fairly high. And yeah, a wonderful book about evolution and what it means for our interpretation of life. It's tough to get through at parts. There's a 100-page section refuting his critics that you can mostly skip, but it is brilliant and makes you rethink the meaning of life, which I guess is pretty valuable. So, the summary. Tell me why. In all his brilliant musings, Darwin never hit upon the central concept without which the theory of evolution is hopeless: the concept of a gene. Darwin had no proper unit of heredity, and so his account to the process of natural selection was plagued with entirely reasonable doubts about whether it would work. I kind of actually, by the way, also believe in natural selection back in the days. At this point of time, it's not there, but I think this is clear. A theological explanation is one that explains the existence of or occurrence of something by citing a goal of purpose that is served by the thing. Artifacts are the most obvious cases. The goal or purpose of an artifact is was designed to serve by its creator. If Locke is right, mind must come first, or at least tied for first. It could not come into existence at some later date as an effect of some confluence of more modest, mindless phenomena. Very cryptic, I just don't get anything, but I hope that I'm reading it in a nice way that you understand it. You, the listener, the podcast listener maybe as well. And this is what I'm hoping for, basically. An idea is born. Natural selection would inevitably produce adaptation, as the summary makes clear, and under the right circumstances, he argued, accumulated adaptation would create speciation. Okay. Darwin knew full well that explanation variation is not explaining speciation. The animal breeders he pumped so vigorously for their lore knew about how to breed variety within a single species, but had apparently never created a new species, and scoffed at the idea that their particular different breeds might have a common ancestor. Darwin had discovered the power of an algorithm. An algorithm is a certain sort of formal process that can be counted on logically to yield a certain sort of result, whether it is run or instantiated. Okay. The tactic of finessing ignorance by randomly generating a candidate and then testing it out technically is a ubiquitous feature of interesting algorithms. Not only does it not refer with their provable powers as algorithms, it is often the key to their power. The most common misunderstanding of Darwinism, the idea that Darwin showed that evolution by natural selection is a procedure for producing us. I've actually also been thinking about it just before as I've been talking about it. Yeah. Not reading, but talking. That, was it also the case for us? I don't know. It could be. Because if just all those die that should die because they're too slow, they're too just dumb, they're too whatever, then yeah, it would kind of make sense. But in another, like us per se, maybe not, because the species of the Homo sapiens, it existed. If it was, or if it's evolved through natural selection is something that I don't really know. But at this point in time, we're the only species of human beings that is living. So in that sense, yeah. But, if you know what I'm referring to. So, but yeah, anyway. Annealing. Evolution can be thought of like the way to forge a sword or other metalwork, constantly heating and let cool the metal, and banging it into place, which better aligns its molecular structure over time. Yes, indeed. It's always adaptation, slowing down, adaptation. And I do, by the way, think that when we indeed really get hot weather in terms of if global warming is going to be a really huge deal in the next, I don't know, 500 years or something, then I guess we're going to adapt and we're going to look differently and we're going to have certain things that are then going to differentiate us from past generations. I don't actually know if generations in the past have also been differently, just, in terms of their body composition and stuff like that, if they had more fat because it was colder, or if people that are living in colder places are generally having just more fat or more brown fat in this sense as well. I actually don't know. It kind of would make sense, but I think since evolution is a way longer process than like 10 years or some shit, maybe we're just getting into that. When, just as I said, global warming is really going to be just a thing in the next 200,000 years or some shit. I don't know. Could be. Or it's probably gonna be. Here then is Darwin's dangerous idea. The algorithmic level is the level that best accounts for the speed of the antelope, the wing of the eagle, the shape of the orchid, the diversity of species, and all the other occasions for wonder in the world of nature. The algorithmic level. Well. Universal asset, which is the next quote-unquote chapter, I would say. What then are living things? They are things that defy this crumbling into dust entropy, at least for a while, by not being isolated, by taking in from their environments the wherewithal to keep life and limb together. Consider how expensive would it be to make a device that would take scrambled eggs as input and deliver unscrambled eggs as output. There is one ready solution: put a live hen in the box. Well, or put an alive hen in the box, quite. But yeah, indeed, it's, first of all, power-wise, it is so expensive. Quite. If you think about it, like, the power that you have to put into the egg to make out of an egg scrambled eggs is insanely high. If you think about it, because you have to crack the egg, you have to have heat, if you also take into account that you have to have a spoon or something else, or you have to have, let's actually just take a wooden spoon. You have to also make a wooden spoon, kind of in that sense as well. If this is also if you're just going into the other direction again, from scrambled eggs to eggs, do you need a spoon? I don't know. But you just need kind of the opposite of heats. Well, it's not going to work. It's just not going to work, I think. Or can you? Well, I don't know. Was it not unfortunate, in fact, that Darwin had chosen to call his principle natural selection? Natural selection? With its anthropomorphic connotations? Wouldn't it have been better, as say Gray suggested to him, to replace the imaginary about nature's guiding hand with a discussion of the different ways of winning life's race? ? Let us understand that a sky hook is a mind-first force or power of or process, an exception to the principle that all design and apparent design is ultimately the result of mindless, motiveless mechanicity. A crane, in contrast, is a sub-process or a special feature of a design process that can be demonstrated to permit the local speeding up of the basic slow process of natural selection, and that can be demonstrated to be itself the predictably or retrospectively applicable product of the basic process. He cites the prelude and fake Fuchs, I don't know, about how our minds could be a bunch of ants running around in Jep as a great example of reductionism in its proper place. Greedy reductionists think that everything can be explained without cranes. Good reductionists think that everything can be explained without skyhooks. Darwin's dangerous idea is that design can emerge from mere order with an algorithmic process that makes no use of pre-existing mind. Skeptics have hoped to show that at least somewhere in this process a helping hand, more accurately a helping mind, must have been provided. A skyhook to do some of the lifting. In their attempts to prove a role for skyhooks, they have often discovered cranes, products of earlier algorithms, process that can amplify the power of the basic Darwinian algorithmic algorithmic process that can amplify the power of the basic Darwin algorithm, making the process locally swifter and more efficient in a non-miraculous way. Good reductionists suppose that all design can be explained without skyhooks. Greedy reductionists suppose it can all be explained without crane. I don't just know what it is all about. To really be honest, it sounds interesting. People that know about it, it's going to be interesting for them, but I just don't know shit about that. The tree of life. Surely many more species have gone extinct than now exists, perhaps 100 extinct species for every existent species. Which is insane if you think about it. Just think about the variety of species that we've had on this planet. It would be cool. Like, I think it would really be cool to just have kind of weird looking ones. Weird looking ones in a way of like, just now as we think about it, they look weird, but just back in the days, of course, they weren't weird because, they were just normal. They were how they were. Specifications can now be seen to be a phenomenon in nature that has a curious property. You can't tell that it is occurring at the time it occurs, you can only tell much later that it has occurred. Retrospectively, crowning an event when you discover that its sequel have a certain property. I think there are the pages, isn't it? Like 69, 68, something. Other concepts exhibit similar curiosities. Closed it down, especially down, close it down. Other concepts exhibit similar curiosities. I once read about comically bad historical novel I once read about a comically, is it actually comically? I think, yeah. A bad historical novel in which a French doctor came home to supper one evening in 1802 and said to his wife, guess what I did today? I assisted at the birth of Victor Hugo. Who is Victor Hugo? Well, anyway. A lot of people are going to hate me for saying that, probably because maybe it is a very known person, but I just don't know him, so well. Mitochondrial Eve is the woman who is the most recent direct ancestor in the female line of every human being alive today. She's not necessarily the first human, just the oldest one that we are all related to by chance. By chance. Not really, but by chance. The major branching that we would retrospectively crown as a parting of the plants from the animals began as a segregation of two gene pools, every bit as inscrutably and unremarkable at the time as any other temporary driving apart of members of a single population. When what provokes our curiosity are the large patterns and phenomena, we need an explanation at the right level. In many instances, this is obvious. If you want to be known by traffic jams If you want to know why traffic jams tend to happen at a certain hour every day, you will still be baffled after you have painstakingly reconstructed the steering, braking, and accelerating process of the thousands of drivers whose various trajectories have summed to create those traffic jams. Yes, indeed. Even though I would kind of argue that it might be only one person's fault, there is a fucking traffic jam, but I just, I don't know. But yeah, I think I'm going to end the episode there, so I wish you the best health, happiness, and also success, and also hope that you're going to remind yourself and you're going to be remembered, which basically means your legacy, and basically means just being a nice person, and then also being remembered as a nice person, which is a cool thing, an amazing thing indeed. 3 other questions that I'm having for you, as always, are: why are you here? What are you trying to change? And what is bothering you the most? These 3 questions are hopefully going to show you your purpose and maybe even a business idea, because who knows, maybe it is going to be the case. I don't know. Another question that I'm having for you is: what could you do? What could you say? What could you make? What could you build? What could you create with your hands or with your mind that is going to change somebody's life? What could it be? Ask yourself and think about it. And yeah, I'm going to see you the next time. Thank you very much from the bottom of my heart. And bye-bye. Have a nice day. Stay healthy. I wish you the best. And stay cool and patient and generous and kind. Especially kind. Yeah. Gonna see you.